I've lost my voice before trying to metal scream, and this is real footage of the vocals I did that led to it.
I, by, side, die, I, two, die, five.
Soon after I did these, I noticed something felt off, very off. When I went to talk, nothing would come out. I couldn't sing normally. And what made things worse was that it was on the night of my birthday dinner. So when I got there, everyone around me wanted me to be happy, but deep down I was freaking out. I was terrified. Was my voice permanently damaged? Would I need surgery? And by the way, if you're new here, my name is David, and after struggling to figure out my screams for years, I finally unlocked them and have gone on to help over 2,000 students learn to scream. And in this video, I'll go over what happened, the 4 things I did wrong, how I was able to recover what I wish I knew, and how you can avoid this. So to understand what I did wrong, I need to explain how I got there. At this point, I still hadn't gotten my false chord screams to sound the way I wanted, but several scream teachers had told me I was doing it correctly. And after about 3 years of trying, I was honestly frustrated and starting to wonder if maybe I just didn't have the voice for it. I was listening to Slipknot and trying to imitate him. And if you've ever listened to early Slipknot, you know he has a really voicey, yelly scream. And to me, it sounded like he was just straight up yelling as hard as he could to the point where distortion would just somehow happen. And up until this point, I was really cautious, but something about the combination of hearing his voicey screams combined with my frustration made me a little reckless. What was more, I was recording myself, and at the time, I legit thought I had caught a glimpse of this starting to sound good and work out. Since I was desperate for any glimpse of progress, I kept trying and trying again to recreate it, shouting louder and louder and louder.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I didn't feel any pain, so I felt like I was good to go and I was safe to do so. But by the time I got to my birthday dinner, I felt like there was a strange dryness that made it so that my talking voice was missing. I was sounding like, "Hey, how are you doing? Hey, hi." So let's break it down. What did I do wrong? So the first thing I did is I let my emotions get the best of me. So here's the thing, if you're feeling stressed or even if you're feeling too much excitement playing a show, it's easy to throw caution to the wind and get carried away with whatever extreme emotion you're dealing with and prioritize that over good technique. Next, I tried to copy the forceful sound instead of focusing on correct technique. Let me explain. So you know how guitar strings vibrate to make noise? Yeah, that's kind of like how vocal cords operate. Now, I want you to imagine if one part of a guitar string randomly had a bump on it. It would be hard to play because if you'd strummed that string, the bump would touch the neck of the guitar and kill the rest of the vibrations. And that's kind of like what happened to my vocal cords. By forcing it and yelling, my vocal cords would flap bigger and bigger and bigger. That caused my vocal cords to slap together so much and so viciously that they become swollen and unable to vibrate normally for talking. And by the way, if you want to build your scream the right way, I put together some of my favorite exercises in a video you can get for free by checking out the link in the description. Back to the video. Next, I had bad recording quality. It wasn't obvious in the moment, but my phone speakers that I was listening to my screams back from didn't sound nearly as good as my earbuds, so there was audio distortion, making my screams sound more distorted than they actually were. And it was enough of a difference for me to continue shouting to try and recreate the sound. To get more of an accurate sound, I should have instead been recording my screams on a good mic and listening back through good quality speakers. Next, I confused a lack of pain with a lack of damage and kept going. In the moment, I felt pretty much no pain and thought that maybe that was enough to make it so that I was safe, but I was wrong. So how did I recover? Well, if you have a swollen ankle, will it become less swollen if you continue to walk on it? No, of course not. In a similar way, to reduce swelling of my vocal cords, I essentially had to not use it and try my best to be quiet. And in theory, this is easy, but this is the real world. And as much as I'd love to just coop up and be a hermit and just watch Netflix, I had to talk to people during work. So the first thing is that I gave myself emotional permission that it's okay to talk a little bit. And of course, I'd try and minimize talking and instead using text communication, but I wouldn't beat myself over it too much if I had to talk. I'd try to talk with a lower pitched voice and try not to raise my voice too much. During the weekend, I took the time to have solo time and tried to have days where I didn't do much. I'd go on hikes instead of going to hang out with my friends. And after about 1.5 to 2 weeks, my voice started feeling back to normal. And when I started screaming again, I kept it soft and easy at first. I didn't try and put too much volume behind it. As a bonus, I saw an ENT to make sure I hadn't done permanent damage. And spoiler, I was fine. So looking back, here's what I wish I knew. First off, your voice is resilient. If you've blown out your voice and you haven't done this in a while, you're probably fine. Obviously, don't make it a habit, but also don't freak out too much. Normal people yell and blow out their voices all the time, so it's probably okay. Next, most vocal injuries heal with rest, but the thing is you actually have to rest. If you're worried, get checked out. Peace of mind is worth it. So how can you avoid it next time? If you're trying to get a yelly, shouty type of scream, don't try and yell to get there. Instead, prioritize getting the distortion first and compressing first to make the distortion at low volumes, and then add voice to add flavor to it. So here's how I used to do it. But when I started learning it right, I got the distortion first. And then I added voice on top of that. And as a reminder, if you want a few exercises on how to build a scream right, check out the link in the description. Next, record yourself so you can hear when things start to sound off. And if you can, listen back with good speakers or a headset so you don't get false validation. Now, here's what I didn't expect about my healing journey. While I was resting my voice, I recovered not just physically, but surprisingly, I covered mentally and spiritually as well. While resting my voice, it gave me an opportunity to reflect. As much as I was obsessed with music, this moment allowed me to step away from it and remember that my identity is not music. There are other things in life to be enjoyed. Take a walk, read a good book, journal, and be in the presence of loved ones. When I got perspective, I came back with much more of an aligned spirit, a level head, and a healed voice, which led to better progress. Now you know some things I wish I knew in regards to screaming damage. Check out this video to find the roadmap to discovering your screams in 30 days.